Hello, 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 and welcome back to the What We Said podcast.
Hey guys.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you're having a great day so far. Today, we are getting into the lore, the ultimate lore guide. Maybe you can come back to this episode whenever you're feeling confused about things we reference. Because we reference a lot. We have a lot of history. You and me got a whole lot of history.
Oh, I didn't know what song we were going with for a second. I'm like trying to sing along, but I thought we should define the word lore.
Okay.
The lore is a body of traditions and knowledge on a subject or held by a particular group, typically passed from person to person by word of mouth. So, lore, I was thinking, is kind of context.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would describe what we're trying to do here today, is give some context into who we are, our friendship, and kind of dive into some commonly talked about things on the podcast, common subjects that we reference that maybe if you're new, you're like, what are you even talking about? Or why do they keep referencing that?
Yeah.
This episode's all about us.
All about us, baby.
Lucky us.
We were talking like we don't have time for life updates before this, but I have one that I thought was too funny.
Okay, let's hear it.
That I just remembered. My mom called me the other day and she was just like talking to me. She's like, guess what happened? So as you guys know, my mother is a teacher. Actually, that's some lore. Both my parents are teachers. My mom teaches like elementary, a little like pre-pubescent kids, that vibe. 5th, 6th, I don't really know how the school system works anymore, something around that age. But she was like, also technology nowadays with school is crazy, but she was telling me that she's like, my students somehow created a different classroom online, like a group almost, but it's like called a classroom, like basically a big group chat with the class. She's like, that I'm not the moderator of. So they're just like going wild in this group chat. She's like, somehow... she's like, one of the parents found it and was like, just so you know, the kids started this classroom without you. And I think they're like 5th graders maybe. And she was like talking me through it. She was like reading some of them to me. Like, she's like, I'm so confused. It was like boomer. And my mom's not a boomer technically, but it was just giving like, she didn't know any of the references. And I kind of knew, but it was so funny. She was like, okay, this one says Urban Dictionary, your name, like Kyle. And then it'd be like, Kyle, guy with, do you know what that is? My mom's like, what are they talking about? She's like, Urban Dictionary. And one of them, they were starting to get like inappropriate because some of them are like, Mike, like guy with a big whatever.
Oh no.
And she was like, what are they talking about? I was stunned. She's reading them. She's like, this one says Sigma, Sigma, Sigma. This one just says we. Like, she's like, what are they talking about? She's like, then I have like one innocent girl in there who's just like, that was weird. Like, she was just reading me these messages and I was cracking up. And my mom's like, I'm so confused. I was like trying to describe what Urban Dictionary was. I'm like, if you go on Urban Dictionary, put in your name, like Chelsea will say like, girl who likes matcha latte. Like just stupid things. Yeah. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I was getting seriously concerned. Like, what is happening?
It's literally a different language.
Yeah.
I saw this TikTok the other day. It was this older guy using a lot of like Gen Z phrases. It was something, the title, you've probably seen videos like this. It'll be like when the Gen Z is the marketing person or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, hey, girly pops. Like it was him promoting to come to this park or this like historical park in their town or whatever. And he's like, hey, girly pops, brat summer is officially over and now it's time. And he was just using all these things. He's like, they really ate with this. It was like a sculpture. He's like, they understood the assignment, like just using all of the things. And I was like, wait, this is legitimately a different language.
Yeah.
If you saw this and weren't on TikTok or just weren't up to date with all the trends and the lingo, you'd literally be like, what is he saying?
Yeah.
I actually don't know.
I was doing stories yesterday of like the shoes. We were talking about shoes on our last episode. And I was like just posting some. And I was just thinking about the fact that my grandma and like some of my aunts and uncles like watch my stories and they're like, I'm like, let me cook. They're like, what are you? They're probably like, what is she? Is she crazy? I'm like, it's giving Pilgrim. Like, what?
No, I
they're probably shocked. Like, is she crazy? Like, someone needs to like call an ambulance.
No, someone.
Not for me.
Prison. Like, they are probably so confused. Yeah. I know they're so confused. Because sometimes they'll ask, like, you know, my extended family will like ask other people, like, what does this mean? Or what was this? They're just so confused about the things that I'm
I know. I was
posting.
telling her, my mom, about the thing, about the messages. I was like, I'm ashamed to know what Sigma even is. Like, I shouldn't even know what
don't
that
even know
is.
what that is.
It's just like stupid. I don't even think it is anything. I think it's just like stupid verbiage that they use, like Sigma, Alpha, like aura, negative aura.
Okay, negative aura
stuff
points.
like
I know that. Well, that was another one of the guys. He's like, you could get 10,000 aura points if you come visit her or whatever. I was dying.
You know who one of my favorite TikTokers is?
Who?
I wasn't planning this. So I don't know his name exactly. I guess I can look it up. It's Zach. But
Zach.
He's like, he'll always be like, oh my gosh, Sydney, goodbye. He'll always be like, Sydney Sweeney, like, she's calling me.
Yes. He's so funny.
Zach. And people will comment like, anytime there's like, oh my gosh, I saw this guy, like,
out on a run.
So hot.
He was like so hot.
Yeah, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, Zach again. Like, everyone tags Zach. And he's just like, but then he actually has like manifested his life. Like, he will literally be in a mansion, like, with celebrities.
Stop.
And he's just like, this is my house. Like, he's so funny.
Yeah,
Anyways,
he is really funny.
Zachary Levi?
He's like, yep, that's the route I run. So like he'll like do it and be like, you guys got me again. It's so funny. I love it. You know, I was thinking one of my goals for the new year, even though it's not the new year, but as we know, new year goals can come at any time, is to not be chronically online, which I think has been my goal for the past 3 years. But so far I've gotten nowhere and I'm still very much chronically online. Same. But sometimes it's like, let's step back from this because it's literally a virtual reality and it doesn't even really, it exists, but only
not really
in the context of which you came. I'm just kidding. Just can't stop referencing it. I'm like,
no, for real.
Well, do you have anything else that's been going on?
Not really.
In your life?
I was just jotting down our entire history of our friendship and it was bringing me back. I was feeling like literally physically sick from nostalgia. I was just like, that is the one curse of having a very good long-term memory is I can feel sick from nostalgia.
Leif has been telling me that recently because I think you guys are similar with that. Well, I think that's actually a very common experience.
Yeah.
Very nostalgic. But Leif was at the mall the other day picking something up for us and he texted me, he's like, the smells are getting to me of the mall. Like the smells of the mall are nostalgic to him. And I was like, that is so funny. He'll seriously, like, sometimes he'll hear a song or like we'll go and get a food and he'll literally look at me and be like, oh, it's like so, I like can't almost. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, it's so nostalgic that I'm just like, I can't believe I'll never be a kid again and stuff. And I'm like, really? Okay.
I know. Like the Christmas of it all. I see some TikToks that are just like how Christmas felt in the early 2000s and it'll like be a song, a old Christmas song with the sound of like a bustling mall and
you just like can't ever go back to truly the way that it felt because
it will never ever be the same. And it's fun and exciting because there's new things, you know, you can create new memories, but there's just, it really is probably the hardest part about having a long-term memory is like getting out of the past. And I'm not even just saying that to be cheesy. Like sometimes you're just like, oh my gosh, it's so pertinent or it's like, what's the word? Pertinent?
No, probably like, you mean like strong on your mind?
Yes.
Present or so. I think I know what you're trying to say.
I have no clue, but it's just like always there. It's like I really have to be like, okay, get out memories, stay somewhere else. I need to move forward.
I don't have that at all. It's truly
that's
so
part
weird.
of our lore.
That's part of our lore is that I remember nothing. But
you have great short-term memory. I have no short-term memory. Like like if someone tells me their name, I literally have to ask them 3 times. I'm like, I'm so sorry. What did you just say your name was? Like I cannot
comprehend.
Yeah, maybe because I have so much freaking stuff in my brain.
Because you're thinking about the mall in 2002.
I'm thinking about my 2007 bedroom.
No, I mean, I think there's pros and cons to both of those things.
Yeah.
And
so I have both.
Yeah, exactly. We can bounce off each other. I can remind you of things that happened yesterday. You can remind me of the past. It's good. I've really tried to I think it's a blessing and a curse both ways. But I've tried to like dive into why I just don't have nostalgic memories that much sometimes.
Yeah.
But definitely not from a long time ago. Like if anything, my nostalgic memories are from a few years ago. It's like, oh, remember when we went on this trip or something, like literally in 2019. That's like how nostalgia works for me. I feel like I'm very rarely nostalgic for things in my childhood.
Yeah.
Because we were talking, Leif and I were talking about just how we're like creating Benny's childhood and we're going to go on these trips, and Leif was like telling me about all these childhood memories and stuff. And that's when he was like, oh my gosh, sometimes it's like the nostalgia is so strong. And I was like, I love that for you. I can't relate at all. I almost like, I want to know what you're talking about, but I quite literally cannot
get there.
I can't feel what I used to. I don't know. I can't understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're lucky us. We have both perspectives today.
Yeah, exactly.
We should get into it because I don't have that many things that have been going on in my life. I have just been doing house stuff, closet organization. You guys can watch my vlogs for all of that. Get a visual for everything if you want. But that's really what I've been doing. So
nice.
Not much to report back on this week, honestly. It's just kind of been a busy home week nice. At home. Yeah.
We love that. Perfect for fall.
Yeah. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. You guys know it's officially spooky season. Halloween is upon us. And you know what the spookiest thing of all is? Intrusive thoughts and fears about your future and feeling like you are very overwhelmed and don't have your life together. And therapy is a great tool for facing your fears and finding ways to overcome them. Because sometimes the scariest thing is not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back. I feel like just as human beings, inevitably, we go through things in life. People we know go through things in life. And it just kind of complicates things and can overwhelm you. Sometimes things are going great and that's awesome. But then, you know, we all have our hard days. We all have our hard months or years in some cases where we just really feel like we're going through it and we could use some extra support. And that is why therapy can be just such a great tool to talk to someone who's unbiased and who's licensed and, you know, a professional to help you in those areas so that you can really move forward.
Therapy has helped me so many times in my life. Just first of all, kind of empower me to be the best version of myself and to really look at all the parts of myself and accept everything. And that really helps me just put my best foot forward and live my best life. Therapy is not just for people who've experienced major trauma either. If you, like I just said, if you are trying to, you know, learn how to have better coping skills or how to set boundaries or just want to be the best version of yourself, then definitely try therapy. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/whatwesaid today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/whatwesaid. Go check it out.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace, and what a perfect sponsor for this episode because we're talking about the history of our podcast and just all the different little businesses that Chelsea and I have had together and separately. And Squarespace has been a big part of those businesses. We have used Squarespace as our website platform for pretty much everything we've done, to sell courses, for Chelsea to do her health coaching. I've sold my photo presets on Squarespace, and it just makes everything so seamless. It's so user-friendly, and we just love it. So Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content to time, all in one place, all on your own terms.
So like we were talking about with Balanced Boss, we also sold our merch on there, and it just made everything so seamless because if you are selling physical, digital, or service products, Squarespace has all of the tools that you need to start selling those online. They also have really amazing product features to help you really succeed. So it's really easy to look at your analytics and just use insights to grow your business. So you can learn where your site visits and sales are coming from. You can analyze which channels are the most effective. It also has blogging tools if you're wanting to start a blog of some type. It's really easy to share stories, photos, videos, updates, anything like that. So go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to www.squarespace.com/whatwesaid to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Again, that's www.squarespace.com/whatwesaid to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. It will be linked in the show notes for you guys. Go check it out.
I am feeling cozy.
I know. It's October. It's spooky. Well, it's been October, but it really is October.
It's spooky season and it's flying by. Get ready
really
for our
is.
Halloween episode, you guys, as usual. Doing our Halloween special. So we need your spooky, scary stories.
The spooky decorations are up in the neighborhoods, and they are real. Like they are. I'm like they have voices. No, they are so realistic these days. Like the big skeletons with the eyes
are so spooky, actually.
So scary. I'm like, okay, you know, children walk around here.
Like an evening walk. It's like a witch.
Literally.
I'm like, geez, Louise.
There's like birds that are. I'm like, this is very, very scary, sir. Like you need to be aware that there are little. Maybe they like that they scare children.
Yeah, probably. Well, why don't you start us off?
Okay.
And let's explain the beginning of our
lore,
of our friendship together and our lore together.
Okay. Well, how we met is in high school. We were 15. We met at. See, I'm telling you guys, and I'm telling JC again.
You guys know I get so excited to hear my own memories. It's so fun.
We met at Oregano's.
I do know that.
You guys know, in Arizona, great Italian food.
We should go.
The Vino Bambino, so good.
Wait, we should go back next time we're in Arizona to Oregano's.
Let's do it.
To our meeting.
Our meeting place.
Our meeting place.
By mutual friends. Like it wasn't like we
got
texted
set
each
up on a
other or
blind
something.
date.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know each other, but we had mutual friends.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know who invited me, like, or why I was there.
I don't know that information either.
Yeah.
But we met at Oregano's. Like a bunch of girls.
It was a bunch of girls. Yeah. And we obviously went to the same high school, so we had like some of the same friends and stuff like that.
So wait, was that sophomore year then? Or freshman
That was freshman year.
That was freshman year. Oh, that's right.
Freshman year, like near the end of freshman year.
Yeah.
Because after that, we didn't hang out that day necessarily, like me and
Us
you
too,
one-on-one.
yeah.
But then we were talking afterwards, like at school. We had a sleepover, like the first night we met, or the first night we hung out alone.
Yeah.
We went to like a dance recital, and JC slept at my house.
Wait, hold on. Why did we why in the first place did you and I go to that dance recital? I know it was like extra credit, but why you and I?
I think we just had the same teacher. So we were like talking about it, like, oh, we're going to go to, and maybe like some of our other friends couldn't go or something.
Okay.
Because we had the same English teacher.
Okay, that's what it was.
And
So it was extra credit to go to a dance recital, right?
yeah, we had to like take notes and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so
And
we're like,
also
oh, we
I
can
think we
both
both were like, oh, we both dance.
Yeah.
Like you were doing dance at a different studio. And so we were like, oh, we both dance. And I think we were both going to try out to be in like advanced dance the next year and stuff.
Okay.
So I think we're like, oh, let's go, you know.
Yeah.
Bond over this mutual activity
Yes.
of performance. Yes. Full circle.
Wow.
Anyways, then you slept over at my house, and then literally it was history. We were like twins on twin day, hanging out every single day. Which is crazy. What year would that be? Like 2010?
Yeah, probably.
That is crazy. It's almost been 15 years.
Oh my gosh. And I remember
We've almost been friends as like longer than we were not friends in our lives.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I feel as though I was really thinking about just my humor and my personality. And I'm like, a huge part of who I am and my personality is shaped by you and our friendship.
Yeah.
Like
we
have
built this.
created, we built this
city
from the ground up. Like truly, I believe, obviously we what's the word? Like got along and like hit it off because we had similar, humors, or we got each other in a way. So obviously, but I think then because we were inseparable, it's like his only. I was just thinking about our verbiage, our cadence, and our voices. Like everything is so probably similar because we literally grew up together and like molded each other's personalities in a way. You know.
One personality, pretty much.
True. We had some friends that got mad at us as well. That we were like so. I don't think we were exclusive, like we would exclude people, but it was just so obvious that we feed off
like
the twin flames.
What I was thinking about when I was, rehashing our history is how we feed off of each other, and it's not just like. Maybe from an outside perspective, I honestly, no one has said this. I was just thinking like some people could think like, oh, that's so random. Like that, oh, just because you're best friends doesn't mean you should like start a podcast together. Like go on live tours. Like what are the odds? It's like, but that is what we based so much of our friendship. That's what we not necessarily based it off of, but But when we were in high school, like we would choreograph dances together. Like we would make YouTube videos and like we're going to be Chelsea and Jace like on YouTube and like write blogs together, like creating stuff forward facing together. And I think that's what we would feed off of each other, even in group settings, and like literally put on a performance for people.
No, 100%.
So it wasn't like, oh, we fell into podcasting. It's like, it's always been our destiny,
baby.
People would literally tell us in high school, like, you guys need to do like a talk show. Cause we were in dance together, our high school dance.
Yes.
And we would be insane together, just like teaching dances while other people were teaching dances. Like we would just be yapping away in the background, like making jokes. Everyone's laughing. Like teachers
and
getting annoyed.
Always feeding off each other, like you said. Like
bouncing off each other.
Yes, bouncing off each other's jokes, adding to them. And like just, yes.
Oh the same thing, like I have memories, maybe you do too. I'm like, maybe it's not too far back, but being in dance class and like doing the same stupid things that we do today where it's like, like say we're, I don't know, just like pretending to like die or something. Yeah. You know, or
pretending to fall over something dumb.
Something low tier humor.
Yes, 100%.
But everyone would be cracking up. And then whoever's teaching the dance is kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, listen
just same thing over and over. Like jokes don't get old. Like we just add on to the joke.
Yeah.
Always.
Doing photo shoots. JC was always in her photography era. So she was always like, you got like a nice camera, like a DSLR, and we would go do photo shoots. I would come with you to so many of your photo shoots. Like what was I doing there? I had no business. Like was not doing anything. Like I would just go with you to take pictures, like take
of
senior
someone
pictures.
else.
Yeah. Or like family photos. I would just come with you to like, who knows?
My sidekick always.
Just literally to goof around or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was thinking how interesting that is, that's just always been something we wanted to do together. So it just makes sense that this is, do you know what I mean? Like maybe from an outside perspective, it's like, oh, why are these two friends? Do you know what I mean? Kind of like,
yeah, like not everyone needs a podcast.
Not every two friends
and that's
are like,
true, but we did.
Yeah.
No, I totally know what you mean. We've always had this same type of banter and energy. And that's why people, ever since we've met, have told us things like that. They're like, yeah, you too. Like, oh gosh. Like it was always just that we were these like literal
clowns,
sidekicks.
Literal clowns.
No, clowns. Class clowns for sure. Just
and we would, if we were in the same class, like we would be chatting away and it'd be like, okay, we have to separate them.
Yeah.
Like they can't stop talking.
No. Actually can't stop. Like
my brother Lad would always be like, you guys need to start like a reaction YouTube channel. Like this was back in the day, like when there were only a few channels on YouTube. He's
that
like,
was like more popular at the time.
Yeah.
Or it was
He's
getting
like,
popular.
you guys need to start like a reaction because your reactions are so crazy. And here we are.
That's quite literally what we're doing.
Yeah,
reacting
it's
to
so
stories.
funny.
Yeah, it really is. It does feel so aligned. Like, and that again might just be like cheesy, but it does feel like it just makes so much sense that we're here today.
The sauce.
Doing this.
The sauce was there. I'm trying to think. Oh, I wrote this down. So I'm gonna like read it so I don't want to like go off. But I want to go on a timeline.
Okay.
Because people were asking, we did a little like question box on our stories about like, what lore do you want to know more about? Things we reference, things we talk about. Because I do feel like we'll be like, oh, when we lived together in Utah in college. It's like, what?
People are like, what? You live together? Yeah.
Okay. So after we graduated, we had a year where we were kind of like doing our own things. You lived in Arizona and I lived in Central California. So like we had a half a semester where we were both in Arizona, but pretty much like right after we graduated, it was kind of like, we were still friends, but we were doing our own thing. So like we had, I lived in California, you lived in Arizona, and then I moved to Arizona for the summer, you moved to Utah. So this is when our like timeline started to kind of, we were always missing each other. Like when I was in California, you were in Arizona, I moved back to Arizona, you moved to Utah when you were like, you spent the summer in Utah. And then we both moved to Utah after that.
And we decided to live together.
Yeah, and we decided to live together.
With a few other girls.
Yeah. That's when I went to like my second semester of college. I only went to 2 semesters of college in my entire life. You had already done the community college before for a couple days.
3 days. I moved to Utah more for like
photography.
Well, yeah, and for like a college experience, I'm putting that in quotes because a lot of my friends were moving there. You were moving there. I had a ton of friends moving to Utah, but most of them were going to school. And I was like, well, I don't want to go to school because I'm like really busy with photography, but I would love to like switch up where I'm taking pictures all the time and just like live with some girls that I know.
Meet new people,
like have a college experience. So
yeah,
that's why we moved to Utah together.
Yeah. And
not together, but kind of.
Yeah, we lived in the same apartment. But then 1 second later, JC was jet setting across the world. And when did you move out of there?
Like a few months. Like I only lived there for probably 6 months.
Yeah.
Maybe even less.
Yeah.
Because I started traveling a lot. That's when my mom had recently started working for the airlines, and so I had flight benefits, so I could travel for essentially free or just really cheap. And I was getting booked for a lot of weddings. Like, someone would find me through social media and be like, "Oh, I'm getting married in Minnesota or wherever, North Carolina," and I'd be like, "Oh, well, I can fly there." Like, and so I started flying for work, and then that's also when I was shooting with Amber, fill her up. And like I went to Paris with her, and I went to Florida with Christine, our friend Christine, who's also friends with Amber, whatever. So I just started traveling a lot, and I'm like, why am I paying rent? Like, why am I, which was so cheap looking back, but I'm like, why am I even living in Utah and having that as my home base when like I'm never there?
Yeah.
So then I just was like, this doesn't even make sense for me to live here. So I moved back to Arizona.
Yeah. So you were back in Arizona. I was in Utah still for like the next semester, basically. And then we both came back for the summer. So this is fun.
To Arizona?
To Arizona for the summer, because this stage of my life at least felt like a span of 10 years, but it was really like a 2 or 3 year span from the time of like 18 to when we were married. It's like, I feel like I lived 10 lives in that amount of time. And I feel like you did too. But then it's so weird when I was writing, so I'm like, literally a year and a half? Like, what is happening?
No, that's weird.
Isn't that weird?
Yes.
Anyways, this is the summer we both moved back to Arizona. And that was a bit of a whirlwind summer because we had dated best friends in high school. That was also part of our lore, is that we had dated both like these guys who were best friends.
Okay, that's a massive part of our lore because that's also kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like we were, like we've established, inseparable in high school, and we were dating guys who were best friends. They were really good friends.
Yeah.
They like played sports together, like,
and not just like we dated them for like 2 seconds. Like we dated them for multiple years.
Yes. Like for most of high school, it was like we were dating these boys and they were friends. So it also was so fun because we would hang out like us four all the time, and like it was fun.
Yeah, it was super fun, and more reason for us to be together. And also I think our boyfriends would get annoyed with us. Like,
oh, I'm sure they would.
We would use words like perfect, neat. I remember Jenna Marbles had a video and she said neato in one of her videos, like neato sarcastically, and we
took that and ran. That up. We ate it up.
We ate it up. We made a million different variations of like, we would say neat, we would say perfect, we would say cool, awesome, and we still do it to this day. We just mix it up. Yeah.
To the point where it was like we had our own little like verbiage and like kind of language that our
didn't make sense
boyfriends
to people.
And like people would just be like, why do they always say awesome? Like stuff like that. And we're just like, it's just a part of our lore.
Yeah. Let us live. They were coming home from their missions, from their LDS missions. Same, like in the same summer.
They left around the same time. They're coming home around the same time.
And we were both in Arizona again. So you had just met Leif though. And Nick and I had broken up the previous fall. So we were both like, not exactly the same day, but like we were both kind of in similar situations where, when did you and Leif break up very briefly?
Like right before
he came home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane. Again, that feels like 10 years. And it's like, what, matter of months?
Literally
Anyways,
matter of months.
So they came home, the missionaries, obviously, spoiler alert, didn't work out. And then at the same time, JC and I were both really wanting to get back together with Leif and Nick. Like we were like literally in my bed crying every night. Like, please, we want them to take us back. Like
we're like trying to manifest them to
we're like, why don't they like us? Like we need them to like us. Like we both were like, we want to marry these guys. Like they need to come around to us.
That is so crazy.
Yeah. And it worked.
Spoiler alert.
Manifesting always works. We would literally be like crying. We're like, what is happening? Like I remember you just being like, what? Why?
I know.
Why don't they like us?
I know.
But they did.
But they
realized.
did, and we knew it. That's the
but
thing.
But we're dramatic, like 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
Literally. Actually 19 is so crazy.
Actually 19.
So then Nick and I started dating. You guys started dating. We got engaged literally within a month of each other. We got married within a month of each other. Months later. And then we started missing each other again. Like Nick and I immediately moved to California when you and Leif lived in Arizona. Then as soon as you and Leif moved to California, Nick and I moved back. I think we moved back to Arizona. Yeah. And then you guys stayed in California, so it wasn't like you guys were moving. But Nick and I basically, we moved around like seasonally for sales. So that's why we lived in like Nashville for a couple months, because we would do like seasonal sales. So we lived in Nashville, we lived in Utah, we lived in different places. So for a couple years, we didn't really talk that often. Like we weren't like FaceTiming every day or anything like that.
I don't even think they had FaceTime. I'm not kidding.
What?
Because I'm like, I feel like we would have, but maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know when FaceTime came out, but I feel like
Probably wasn't popular at least.
we would text like here and there.
Yeah.
But we didn't like, it wasn't like we were.
No, we were
talking
just
all the
newly
time
married
anywhere.
and like lived in different places kind of.
And had completely different lives and jobs. And I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was crazy. I feel like those,
Like the worst years of my life.
I'm like, those were the dark years. And it was 2018. So this was, again, only 2 years after we got married. Like,
Crazy. That seems so so much longer.
Yeah,
like,
we kind of
we were
like
married
reconnected. I don't even remember what provoked it, but I came to you to stay with you for my birthday.
Yeah, for your birthday.
Yeah.
But I'm forgetting why like we had reconnected in the first place for me to be like, you should come. Like, what was that? What was that situation? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. Okay. Maybe we were just like.
You remember?
I was gonna say something. I was like, was it because I was on The Voice?
Please. I see like potential in her. I'm like, oh well, you had
but
said.
I think it was like maybe we were talking more because of like.
Well, you had told me you're like, I'm going on The Voice or whatever, and I was like, wait, I have to post and like tell people to vote for you.
Yeah. I
so
think
then I posted about that, and then I think we were like
I got clout. I was worthy.
I'm like, finally, she had some followers. She could
I don't think it was like necessarily that, but I do think that was like
it was around that time.
Yes, I was like on The Voice on Snapchat, and very quickly, to get this out of the way of my lore, is literally that is not, it sounds like a bigger deal than it was. I literally sent in a video randomly on Snapchat to The Voice. They were like, we're doing a competition. I sent in a video of me singing. They did it all without me knowing, and then all of a sudden we got a call and it was like, Blake Shelton picked you to be on his team. Like they had watched the video,
but
and like
still
selected.
so crazy.
Still cool, still crazy. But then it was like I flew out for a weekend and did like a little sing off thing and like met Julia Michaels, and that was really cool. And we saw each other then too.
That's when we saw each other. That was it, because I was living in LA and she was like, I'm coming to LA to be on The Voice. I was like, oh my gosh. So we like got together.
Yeah.
And then, well, I think that was probably the catalyst, right? Because then we like hung out and we're like, sorry.
Yeah, we're still the same.
We're still the exact same, and like we haven't seen each other in so long.
We're like, we feel full again. We feel whole.
No, exactly.
And then I came and visited you for my birthday. So yeah, that was a little bit afterwards, I guess. And literally we hung out for 2 days and we're like, why don't we like talk more? Like,
Yeah.
This is
So
I need
fun.
to move into your house.
Yeah. No, Leif was gone, right? Yeah. So we were kind of having like a girls' weekend because Leif was out of town, and then
we were
it was
taking
her
photos
birthday
again.
So we were like having sleepovers every night, and I literally was like, this needs to be my new life. Like, I miss you so much.
Yeah.
It just was so fun, like to hang out and just like be girls.
We were like taking photos again. It was like reigniting like this inner child, like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Like, we've literally been missing this.
So fun.
Yeah.
Then we decided to start our podcast
2 seconds later.
scarily soon after that.
Yeah.
Because it was 2018, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's when we started recording like once a month. We'd fly out to each other once a month because I still lived in Utah. And then at that point, it's not like the podcast was like this huge full-time job. So that's why we were still living apart. Like Nick still had his job, and like you were still doing your thing. So it wasn't like, oh, we got to move together and like get a studio going.
No.
So,
and we didn't know the potential. We knew like maybe we could make money with it down the road, but like we weren't making money with it at the beginning, and we just thought it was fun. And podcasts weren't even super popular. I mean, that was it 6 years ago? Mm-hmm. So the podcast world just like wasn't booming at all. Like we didn't know anyone who had a podcast personally, really. Maybe did we know anyone?
No, not personally. Definitely not.
We had like,
it was like Serial, like How Things Are Made or whatever that one. Like those are the only podcasts you had heard of.
like true crime podcasts, like My Favorite Murder.
Yeah.
But we were like, oh, it would be My Favorite Murder. I remember kind of inspired us. We were like, we could have a podcast together. And wait, does that podcast still exist?
I have no clue.
Do they still do that? I haven't listened to it in ages. But we're like, we could have people write in stories, but instead of like the murder stories that they do, we could have people write in like their embarrassing moments and like first kiss stories and like weird things like that, and then we can react to them, kind of meshing all of our and at the time interest. And at the time you were super in your like health and wellness era. I was super in my girl boss era, so I feel like we were also like we could have guests on and like learn about like how people started their businesses. I feel like the podcast has evolved a lot like since the very beginning, but that was originally kind of the goal, I guess.
Yeah, I was a health coach at that point, like, or I was going to school to become a health coach, and then that is where nature versus nurture, that lore that we always reference, just so you guys know, it was like our second episode we ever did, and we were trying to kind of, I think we just didn't, we hadn't got our footing yet. So we're like, oh, this is educational. Let's discuss nature versus such a layered topic.
A nuanced topic that is like so deep.
And the reason, age-old mystery.
Basically, nature versus nurture. It's like, oh, are you born this certain way, or is the way that you're nurtured the way that you grew up? Like, why are we the way that we are? And we were like, that's an interesting concept, like topic. We should talk about that. And the reason we reference it all the time is because we just had no business talking about it. No. Like, I haven't even gone back and listened to it because I would never, because I would be so cringed about probably what I'd said 6 years ago.
Well, and it was so not. I could see us doing a nature versus nurture episode now and like calling it that, but the vibes of it were so different. Where we were like, coming prepared.
No, literally coming correct, if you will. Like coming with points. Like, I researched this topic. Here's what I found. What did you find?
Instead of just like giving our personal, opinions anecdotes about it. Yeah, exactly.
So proper. Like, and that's why we reference it, because we're like, oh gosh, when something reminds us of nature versus nurture, when we're being a little too serious or something, we're like, we always reference it. So that's that reference if you're new.
Yeah. That's really all I had. And then I moved to LA once it was like the pandemic hadn't hit yet.
It was
literally right before. And we were going to do our first live show. We had signed with Dear Media. So it was kind of getting like, oh my gosh, should we do this? Like, are we doing this? Like, Nick and I are going to move to LA for the podcast and just like for opportunities. Yeah. And then we moved, and the rest is history.
Yeah. It's crazy. The pandemic really shifted our podcast, and I think it shifted it for the best, because before the pandemic, we were still doing a lot of like guest interviews and health and wellness stuff. And while we still like love that and are interested in it to some degree, like during the pandemic, we couldn't have people on literally because we couldn't leave our house. And so it was just us for like months and months, for almost like a year while we were just stuck at home in LA. And that's kind of when our podcast shifted to be very just like us, I guess. It was less about, it was more just us chit-chatting about casual things. And I think in that time, it was such a heavy time for so many people, and it's like a scary unknown time that we were like, we just want to be entertainment and like fun for people to listen to. We don't necessarily, I remember kind of having a conversation about that, like, we don't need to have these like experts on and be like, here's how to live your best life. Like, no one's trying to do that right now. Like, we just want to have fun and like let people forget about the struggles of their day and just like listen and have fun. And I feel like that's when our podcast started growing even more, and that kind of shifted things for us. So,
crazy.
And I feel like ever since then, it's kind of had the same vibe. Yeah, our podcast.
Yeah, obviously we've grown up, and it's like, it's crazy that people who've been listening from the beginning are probably about our age, like give or take a couple years, but it's like we've all grown up together. Yes. Like we were, 22, 23 when we started the podcast?
Yeah, I think 23.
And now we're almost 30. It's like, so the difference in what we do day to day and like our lives, but it's like, that is the beauty of our friendship and just our community, is like the foundation is the same. Like regardless of what happens in our lives, like we go through so many different things, but it's like sarcasm, like keeping things light, like being there for each other, like non-judgmental, like just the foundation of the friendship and what I feel like this community now is like always, you can rely upon it, whatever stage of life you're in.
Yeah. Definitely.
Wow, I didn't know this was going to be a mushy podcast.
Me neither, but I'm proud of us. I feel like it's been so fun to just like do this together. And let me see what else I had written down for our lore. Because...
Well, we can't forget our balanced boss lore.
No, we can't.
Because someone had the audacity to be like, what was the girl boss accounts that you had, or like the business you had? I'm like, what do you mean girl boss? Is called Balance Boss. Put respect on the name, okay?
That is, that was a business that came out of also the pandemic though. Because speaking of, I was like, we don't want to tell people how to live their best lives, but we still wanted a space for that.
Yeah.
But we wanted the podcast to just be like fun, just fun, casual energy. And so we were like, oh, we should create a course. Like Chelsea has a background as a health coach. I have no credentials, but
like business and health. We wanted to combine them.
Yeah, we wanted to combine business and health and do like kind of just like give our best tips for like how we found success in those areas. And it was
how
during
to
the
go after your
pandemic.
Dreams. I feel like more than anything, like I stand behind that course. I feel like
100%.
It was so good. I want to take the course.
No,
I will be enrolling in it.
I don't know if you remember, but we were at an event and this girl came up to us. She had talked to me, but you were off somewhere else. But then I think she talked to you separately. But she was like, I just have to tell you that I took your Balanced Boss course. And she's like, then I wrote this book. Like it literally gave me the like courage and the tools. I can't remember her words. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but something about how like our course helped. I'm like, the knowledge, and we actually wrote the book. No, she was like, it gave me whatever. It helped her write her book. And then her book was a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
we are New York Times bestsellers.
So congratulations to us. No, but I think it just, because sometimes I'm like, what business did I have telling people like, here's how to create your business?
If they took the course, they would know that the girls who were there, we went through that together. Like it was not like invest in these companies and eat this. It was like very much about mindset. Like how to honestly just like be confident, go after your dreams,
and not let things stop you.
Yeah. And who cares about what other people think? Like, just do what you want to do. And what's the harm in that?
Yeah. So that was a little business we had during the pandemic, but then it kind of like, we also brought on like other people that, which I still think that that's a great business model and a great business idea, but we just got too busy. We're like, we can't do all of these things. So we ended up like fizzling it out. If anyone wants to buy the company,
let us know.
The branding's still beautiful. We did like merch for it. It was actually stunning.
It was stunning. Like the course is stunning.
Oh, the course, like Leif, like filmed it all, and it was like beautiful. Yeah.
Abby did like a yoga course on there.
That's right.
It was so good.
Abby did a yoga course. We had like a hormone specialist do like a hormone course and like sell it under Balanced Boss. I'm like actually not kidding. If anyone wants to buy the Instagram account and the business, let us know, because it's actually
so good,
so cute and so great. But we just didn't have time to like continue it. But that was great. Like that, like it went well, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
And it was something to like do during that time as well, where it was just kind of it
was virtual.
Yeah. Everything was virtual. So,
and it was a way to like talk to other people, because it was like live chat and things like that. So,
and people could like ask questions live at like Q&As and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah. I feel sick with nostalgia.
Do you?
No.
About Balanced Boss?
No, it's just when I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh, that time. Just the good feelings. Like after we would like do the course like live, because it would be we would do it live.
Yeah.
We would just feel so good.
Yeah.
We would just be like, oh my gosh, we are feeling so
just
good,
like
motivated,
empowered,
so connected.
Yes.
During such a lonely time.
Yeah. Next, I think we should dive into our Vapid Valley Girl.
Yeah.
Lore. Some people were asking, like, what does that even mean? Like, what is VVG? Like, why do you call people Valley Girls? There are a few reasons for this. Number one, we're from the Valley in Arizona. So we are Valley Girls. We also lived in the Valley in California. Like we, we're just Valley Girls through and through. And the reason we started calling you girls our Valley Girls and Vapid Valley Girls is actually based on some negative reviews that we were getting. And one specifically called us Vapid Valley Girls. And we were getting like, oh, the Valley Girl accent, and like, they're just so vapid now, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it wasn't like it's not like that was the main takeaway, but people would say stuff about our Valley Girl-ness. And we decided to reclaim that and be like, you know what? We are Valley Girls. Number one, we are literally from the Valley. So we have, have Valley Girl accents because that's where we're from. And, we just decided to reclaim the term. We're like, Vapid Valley Girl is actually like kind of an iconic little like, pairing of words. Like it really flows off the tongue.
Yeah.
So we decided to reclaim it.
I kind of ironically, but kind of not, because part of it is, not to get too deep here, but a little bit honestly misogynistic in a way, to be like the Valley Girl accent like means you're dumb because you talk like how a girl talks, where it's just like, and what we say, like, okay, like guys say guys say other things, they say dude, they say bro, like why
guys say like all the time, by the way.
Why does that make us dumb?
Yeah.
Because we talk like other girls. And anyways.
Yeah, we just decided to like reclaim it and be like, okay, well then we're gonna.
It doesn't have to be an insult.
Yeah. We're gonna, again, like something that I love, like, is monetizing off people. Yeah. No, but it's like, if you're, Aspen recently made a TikTok about this too. It's like, she's like, when people try, like when haters or people try and like tell me something I already know, it's like, and like that's kind of how I felt about like those reviews. You're a Valley Girl. It's like, what's your point here? Like, and
you just get matchas.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I like matcha.
It's like, I don't know what your goal is, but now that you said that, like I will be monetizing off of what you said, because it's like basically reclaiming it. It's like, I'm not going to let you.
It's like Brat Summer.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to let you be the person who whatever has any control or who has this thing over us. It's like, okay, we'll literally make merch that says that then. And like, what about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. It's it's feminism taking our power back. It's like,
well, also I think it's kind of like, oh, a girl who talks like that and who drinks iced coffee and who likes to dress up is stupid. Like you're dumb. Like you're vapid. You only care about these surface level things. You can't be more than that. Where it's like, okay, so we can have our hobbies, but like, why is the hobbies that a lot of girls tend to like ones that make you all of these like negative things? Where it's like, you can look at it from both sides. Where it's like, guys have lots of things. Just because you like one hobby doesn't make you stupid or self-centered or all these different things. It's like, I just like to do that. Yeah. I just like certain things. It doesn't make me vapid in the terms of like, that's all I care about in life.
Yeah.
But, if you're going to call me that, you put meaning on the word, not me.
Exactly. We have 2 product recommendations for the Valley Girls. You guys are going to love these as much as we do. The Impress No Glue Manis and Impress Press-On Falsies Lashes. They both require no glue, so they don't damage your natural nails and lashes. And it is literally one step and you're done. There's no mess, no annoying drying times. This is so nice to elevate your look without breaking the bank, going to a nail salon or getting your lashes done. I personally love a false lash for a night out or for a photo shoot. They have endless lash options. They have really natural looking ones, which I prefer. They also have voluminous and wispy ones if you want a more bold look. I love putting lashes on the outer corners of my eyes to make my makeup pop a little more. It also photographs really well. The press-on falsies have a unique underlash application for a seamless look and have a self-stick technology that keeps them secure and in place for up to 24 hours. They're really simple and easy to put on. Sometimes false lashes can feel intimidating, but these ones make it easy. You can wear them every day or for special occasions.
Having my nails done is something that helps me feel put together. I feel like it completes an outfit and is a simple way to upgrade my look and make me feel confident. The Impress Press-On Manis are so great and easy to use. No glue needed, just peel, press, and go. They have different color options like French tips, neutrals, bold colors like red, perfect for fall. They have a patented super hold adhesive for up to a 7-day secure hold. Impress nails have a comfortable and natural feel and fit, which is really, really nice. And most importantly, they don't damage your natural nails. These are beauty must-haves, and it's so nice that you can use them effectively and quickly from home. Of course, we have a code for you guys, so visit impressbeauty.com/whatwesaid and use the code whatwesaid at checkout for 25% off Impress Manicure and Press-On Falsies. That's code whatwesaid for 25% off Impress Manicure and Press-On Falsies. Check it out. We're jumping into an ad to talk about Lissy Skincare, one of my new favorite skincare brands, because I have been using their most viral product, their Mandelic Serum. So I have been on the hunt for a lactic acid after one of the estheticians when I was getting a facial told me that I needed to be exfoliating more. But also I was pregnant at the time and now I'm breastfeeding. So you always have to be extra careful of what you're putting on your skin. All of their products for acne and fungal acne are safe, pregnancy and breastfeeding safe as well, which is really, really nice and amazing. So their Mandelic Serum, the one I was just talking about, their customer reviews show improvement with all types of acne, including hormonal, inflamed, cystic, fungal, and more. So Lissy Skincare was created by an esthetician who struggled with acne for 10 or more years and couldn't find anything to really clear up her acne or fungal acne. Lissy knows the effect acne can have on your confidence and mental health.
I love when skincare brands are made by, estheticians or people who have actually had experience with skin issues, because they don't mess around when it comes to the ingredients that they're putting in their products. And, they're really focusing on gentle yet effective ingredients and all of that. That just makes me feel better using skincare by brands like that, because that makes me more confident, using Lissy Skincare, because they actually have heart and purpose behind their brand. Other benefits to their products include reducing acne scars, hydrating, barrier repair, improving hyperpigmentation, and more. Of course, we have a code for you guys, so you can go to lissyskincare.com and use code WHATWESAID at checkout for 10% off your order. That is LISSY skincare.com. Use code WHATWESAID for 10% off your order. Which leads me to some other lore that I just feel the need to rehash right now. Unfortunately, you were not with me.
Okay.
And it was when me and Danny went to New York. But I feel as though this goes right along with the Vapid Valley Girl concept. And that is when I was on an airplane with Danny, our friend. And we were going to New York City. And, we were yapping, whatever, on the plane. And not loud, by the way. Not like... we weren't being too loud. That wasn't the problem. But this guy who was sitting in front of us had the audacity to turn around to us mid-flight and say,
But you're already in the air?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Why did I think you're on?
No,
I don't know
no.
why that makes it even more offensive. Like,
no.
You're trapped.
We're 20,000 feet up, baby.
Yeah.
He turns around and he's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could remember exactly what he said, but something to the effect of, you girls sound like the dumbest. I'm not kidding you guys. This is what he says to us. I just counted how many times you said like during your conversation, and you guys sound like the dumbest people. You don't realize how stupid you sound. You sound like absolute buffoons, and you don't realize how dumb you sound. I'm trying to help you. You guys said like this many times. You sound like buffoons. Speechless. Never in my life have I been actually like stunned speechless in this way. Picture someone turning around and be like, you sound like the dumbest person I've ever heard. You're just like, oh my gosh. Humbled real quick.
Yeah. Weren't you guys just talking about like pop culture too? It's like that's all.
I don't even remember what we were talking about. It was maybe we were talking about a bit of pop culture, just
which they hate to see coming.
Yes.
Girls talking about pop culture, like heaven forbid.
It's so vapid, speaking of vapid, yeah.
Again, but they love football and they'll dress up and paint their bodies. Like, okay, but I like the Kardashians. It's fine. I'm not dressing up and going to their premiere as Team Kardashian.
No, so true. Anyway, and I can't even remember like what I think I was like, did I ask? Like, I think we said something like that. I was like, I think I said that. I said, good thing I did not ask for your opinion. Like, what? And I can't remember, but he was going on, and it just was killing me. The fact that he was like, you sound so stupid when you talk, like you should literally shut up is what he was saying, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this man doesn't know that this is what I do for a living. I literally talk and yap about these dumb subjects and say like, and that is actually my entire livelihood. Like if he only knew.
And it brings people joy, just so you know, sir. More than you've ever brought anyone else joy.
It was beyond. And I need to ask Danny if there was anything else to that story, because it was unbelievable.
No, it's crazy.
I feel like we did maybe say something to him as he left too. I think I made a TikTok about it. I should go back and watch it. I think I was in the airport when I made the TikTok. I
went like this.
What? Please. Yeah, right. I'm like, major loser. Doing like the dumbest.
L7 weenie. As he walks away, he's like, goodbye. He's like, I'm a heart surgeon.
I know. Imagine me being like, and what do you do? He's like,
I work for NASA.
Yeah. Has insane credentials.
He's like, and my name is Elon Musk.
Pleased to meet you. I'm like, hi. Yeah.
Screaming.
It was.
That's beyond.
I just felt the need to bring that up again because we haven't rehashed that in a while, and it is so
insane.
Crazy.
That is insane.
Such insane behavior.
It gives the same vibes as an older gentleman looking at you in public with nothing, a complete stranger saying, "Why don't you smile more?"
Please.
Why, sir? Like, you look prettier when you smile. Oh, like, it's a shame. You should smile more. Sir, you do not deserve to see my teeth. You do not deserve to see my joy. I don't know you.
They think
you're not entitled to that.
Getting at by saying that.
Just
that you look like
Maybe
you have like RBF.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. Oh man. Well, that's kind of the base of the podcast. I mean, we have some more personal lore, I guess.
I guess some people think of us as the poop girls because we always talk about we both have pooped in our Skims pajamas for, when we were sick. And not necessarily like, just we're walking around and one day. It's like, how it happens. Like, you might not know how it happens. I also was like, how?
Yeah,
how?
Chelsea admitted to me that she was judging me when I pooped my Skims. She's like,
not judging,
but she's like, okay, confused. That's weird. And then it happened to her.
Yes, it can happen to anyone. It can happen to anyone. I think I was more just like, how do you accidentally poop?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I learned the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
God said, just wait. Just you wait.
Honey.
I've got some Taco Bell coming your way.
I've got something in store for you, sweetie. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Miss Chin is a big part of my my life and my lore. If you're new here, I got a chin implant. How long ago? It was same age as Case.
Yeah.
Almost 3.
They're the same age.
Yeah. Case and my chin are very similar in age. Their birthdays are really close. So that's how I'm
we'll
not joking.
We'll have a combined birthday party for them.
That's literally how I remember is I'm like, how old's Case? Okay, it's been that long, which I can't believe it's been that long, honestly.
I know. It's crazy.
But Miss Chin is the reason for the pooped Skims as well, because it happened to me when I was on my medications that I was on after my surgery. Mm-hmm.
So crazy.
Do you know what's so funny is that the fact that I went into that surgery being like, I will probably, well, I didn't say probably, but I was like, I might not talk about this publicly. Like, I just want to, I don't need to overshare this. Like, I paid for the surgery. I didn't get it for free or something. I wasn't doing a brand deal with them or something. I was like, this is something that I've wanted and I'm going to do this. And I don't like, why do I need to tell everyone? Literally made it my entire personality. 1 hour after the surgery, I'm like, I will be talking about this. But I'm glad I did because there wasn't a lot of
the chinfluencer.
Yeah, I felt like there wasn't a lot of content out there about chin implants. It's like a very underrated plastic surgery thing that a lot of people don't know you can get, or you just see a lot of people getting like nose jobs or boob jobs, but the chin is a little bit more. I don't know. I didn't see much content about it. So I didn't know it even really existed until I was like, okay, this is what I wish I could change. And I was like, you can get an implant to like make your jawline, whatever. So, even though most of my content was like, I look back, I'm like, whoa, the fact I would show myself literally completely numb. I'm like eating something. It's like falling out of my mouth. I'm like, hey guys, here's my vlog. I'm like, geez, Louise, you have no shame. Bring back shame. Like
literally, like before, maybe I won't share. Fast forward a month, I pooped my pants.
Quite literally. I'm like, I don't need to overshare this part of my life. Shares every detail.
One video goes by, it's like, cha-ching.
Please.
Literally ass with everything.
That is so funny. Yeah, as far as, and obviously Chelsea's stolen car is a huge part of her thing, but you just told that story.
I just rehashed that a little bit ago.
And Kendall Jenner, obviously, we don't need to rehash either. I feel like those are like the main points. Mm-hmm. I was really thinking about, our digital footprint, and I'm like, we've had some eras.
Yeah, we have.
We've had some different, I'm always, it's like when that girl made that video, I reposted it on my Instagram story, but it was a TikTok I saw. She was like, it was a random video that came across my desk that was about like baby names, like naming traditionally boy names for a girl, whatever. And it was this girl saying She's like, you know that redhead girl on here that thinks Kendall Jenner copies her? Like, she named her daughter Benny. It's so cute or whatever. And I was like, that is literally my like legacy and my persona. I feel like to people who obviously aren't Valley Girls, who don't keep up with the podcast, it's like, that is all I am to them.
Yeah.
I'm a redhead. I've seen multiple videos like that. They're like, oh, that redhead girl who Kendall Jenner or whatever. And I'm like, that is literally my
It's so crazy.
my entire personality.
That's what you'll leave behind.
I guess so.
That's great.
Which, I mean, hey, could be worse. Kendall's been quiet because she went blonde.
I saw that.
I wonder if she found a new muse.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to find out.
We'll have to think. We'll have to see who it is.
She looks good blonde.
Yeah, she looks really good blonde.
Looks good in every hair color.
Yeah,
she's just
looks
gorgeous.
good in every outfit and hair color and basically just all the
But
time.
not with every beau.
What?
Not with every beau. Not with every boyfriend.
Oh.
Not with every guy. Only Devin.
Right.
I'm saying that because that's also part of our lore is Devin Booker. Well, he's not really part of our lore, but
We're like,
we love
make
him.
up a whole story. We're like, and he's obsessed with the podcast as well.
We're obviously from Arizona. Suns.
Yes,
Devin
Phoenix
Booker,
Suns.
Kendall Jenner. It's
Yeah.
all
It's all
goes together.
interconnected.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Can you think of anything else? to
No,
end with?
I mean, people were kind of like asking about my music stuff, like
Yeah.
Jade Demure lore, but like that's really all it is I went by a stage name and did music for a little bit. The thing is like in that time frame where I was in Utah and before like a little bit when I lived in California right after we graduated. But like again, in my mind, I'm like, that was 10 years. It was like a year and a half time span of like,
yeah.
really it was just playing shows and wasn't like I was doing anything crazy. It was just my hobby,
music
my
era.
side hustle, whatever. Yeah.
Did you ever though? Were you like, I want to make it big and like? Well, I'm sure you did.
Let me end with this very motivating story I've told before, but you know, just to leave you guys with a bit of motivation to always go after your dreams. So the reason I even got into it is I entered a singing competition online, again, with the competitions and me, like just sending in random videos. But then I won the competition and they were like, okay, come out and play this big show. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. And then that like gave me exposure to this agency and that they kind of took me under my
you
wing.
won what competition?
It was like some Facebook singing competition
Okay.
thing. Do you kind of remember? It was like, do not watch the video. I was singing in cursive. Like I watched back.
singing in cursive?
I'm like, that's not even my voice. Like what is happening? But people were eating it up. Like people ate it up.
That was the vibe at the time. It was Coachella
Yes.
2016. It was the vibe at the time. Okay.
Exactly. Well, a little before.
No,
I'm like,
Chelsea,
I was
that's
ahead of the time.
That's a TikTok sound.
Oh, Coachella 16?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
You missed the reference.
I'm like, I'm
No.
not chronically online. Like
No, literally. It actually is Kendall Jenner saying it. She's like, that was Coachella 2016. That was the vibe at the time.
Oh, yes. Okay. I do know that sound.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was like working with this management company. They would hook me up with like, hook me up with gigs,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to play shows and stuff. And that's honestly, I actually have tried out for The Voice in person, like with a private audition. Like
that.
I think twice. I did twice. The first time I went to LA, Lad and I like drove to LA. We actually saw you there. Like you were doing photos.
Gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Lad literally, shout out Lad. It was the best like brother thing ever. He literally drove me there. Like we stayed in a hotel and then he like drove me to my audition, like helped me practice all this stuff. Spoiler alert, didn't happen. Didn't make it. They're like, you need to sing louder. I'm like, okay. And I think I sang a song that they'd heard a million times. So like, we've heard this, like maybe come back next year, be more original.
Please.
So, anyways, this producer in Nashville actually had reached out to my manager at the time and was like, I want to choose one of your talent and like produce a full album for them. And he chose me. He was like looking through the roster and he chose me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like he's going to fly me out. We're going to write an album together. Like I could, in my mind, I was like, oh, I could sell this music to, I could make money. I could like sell the music to like commercials or like things like that. I wasn't like, I want to be the next pop star. Like, not because I don't know. I just wasn't really like my dream, honestly, to be like a pop star. At that time, realistically, maybe when I was 7, but like at that point, I was just like, oh, I could be making money with this.
And you loved it. So you're like, oh, I could sing and make money. That'd be cool. Yeah.
And who knows where this will go.
Yeah.
So he tells me to start writing some songs. I'm writing songs. I'm like, that's not my area of like expertise, writing music. Maybe the lyrics, not the music part. Like I taught myself guitar. I taught myself like piano, but I'm not like Mozart by any means. So I'm like using G, A, C, D, like the same chords.
Yeah.
And I wrote probably 10 songs maybe. I'm like recording them. I don't know how to write music. I don't know what to send. Like I'm doing voice memos. I'm putting so much effort into it. I send this man some of my songs, like, or the whole thing. I was like, this is my, preview of like an EP I could do.
Yeah.
Tell me which songs you like and we can kind of like work from there. And he was like, he wrote me back. He's like, keep working. Like basically, I don't like any of those songs. Try again. I gave up. I never wrote another song ever again. And that is how sometimes it's okay to give up because
you obviously didn't have the, if you didn't have the fire under you, then that's not your purpose.
It wasn't honestly, what I have always said is I loved performing. Like I loved doing dance. I've always loved being on like stage. Mm-hmm. My favorite part of doing gigs where I would be singing was the talking in between to the crowd.
Yeah.
Like just making jokes, like being funny, like, and not like stand up, like I'd have a skit, but just like, interacting with the crowd and talking. Mm-hmm. And then when I'd have to sing, I'd get so nervous, like for the singing part. I'm like, I hope I don't mess up. So when we did our live shows, I'm like, the fact that this job now exists where I get to do my favorite part of what we used to do.
Well, you don't have to sing.
And I don't have to sing.
Dream come
amazing.
True.
So sometimes it's okay to give up on your dreams.
Totally.
If they're not really your dreams, you know?
Exactly.
And it just wasn't my thing. So I was like, we lost touch and I just literally started doing this instead. But
you find out that producer is the
next big thing.
Yeah, the next big thing. He signed all these. No, I know. Music is really, really hard. Yeah. I feel like that would be one of the hardest places to like get your foot in the door and like really try and make it big, just because I'm sure a lot of jobs are like that. It's just there's a lot of people trying to do music, and I feel like you'd have to really have good connections and like work super hard at it.
Yeah, and I think it's okay. I love singing, and I do think I have a decent voice, but it wasn't like from a young age, I'm like, I want to write music like Taylor Swift. Like, I want to be a producer. Like, I want to create music. It's like, I think sometimes it's okay to enjoy something and not want to have to do it.
Yeah, make it your whole job and your whole livelihood.
Exactly. It's like, and sometimes, maybe you're not good at it, and that's okay. Try something else, you know? It's like they say, if your kid is good at tennis, don't get them, but like, getting an F in math, don't get them a math tutor, get them a tennis instructor. Like, really go for their strengths. And so that's what I think is like, okay, this is not my strength and I don't really want to be spending time on it because it's not what and down the line, what I really, really truly feel like aligns with me and what I want.
Yeah.
It's not my gift. I have other gifts that I'd like to, try.
Facilitate.
Like yapping.
Yeah, exactly. And look where it got you. Yeah. No, that is true. Leif, though, on the other hand, is like set on us making a song. Like
we should.
He's like, you guys have
someone write it for us and we will sing it.
Yeah. He's like, you have to, like, he has certain ideas in mind of like, kind of like girl bands, like vibes. But he's like, he'll like be watching a music video or show me something. He'll like, now picture you and Chelsea doing like a Valley Girl anthem or something.
We got to do a Valley Girl anthem.
Yeah. And
someone write it for us.
I know. And I'm like, that is kind of iconic.
I'm great at making up little kid songs for Case and Elwood. I'm making up like Mr. Excavator. I'm singing everything. But
we just need someone to write it and produce it, and then we'll show up. Yeah. Do everything and make our voices, auto-tune our voices in AI. No, but
literally,
even just hearing just the pop music from like Addison Rae, and I'm not saying she's not talented, like singing wise. I've actually never really heard her like
live,
straight up sing live, so I have no idea what her voice sounds like. But like, I feel as though these days, if you have a like decent voice already, and you have the right team behind you, and you're like, you have or if you can like damn, like, and you have the it factor, like two people sitting on this couch. No, but if you have honestly you desire, you do, and just like,
I'm not saying we have that, but I'm saying they have it. Like,
well, Addison Rae definitely has
Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes. But if you have a decent voice, you can like, you have good rhythm and you can dance, and like, well, they're also drop dead gorgeous, but like, if you have the right team behind you, I feel like anyone can be like a star.
Yeah, it's true.
So stay tuned for our anthem.
Yeah.
Coming soon. That really would be such a fun random
That would be
project.
fun. That would be really fun.
That would be
to
fun.
do a Valley Girl anthem.
Yeah. So
I'm down. I'm so down. You guys reach out. Write it for us.
You guys hate to see us coming.
You hate to see two Rapid Valley girls coming your way.
It would be so
with
good.
nothing but a dream. Quite literally, nothing but a dream.
No, I feel like the lyrics could be so funny too, and
So
like relatable.
cutesy. Yeah.
Should we be giving this away for free?
Well,
We'll see.
What are they going to do? Record it and dress up like us?
No, but someone could create the song and call it that, and we would be copying them. But you heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it
reference
here
this
first.
date and time, everyone. Thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast. For real, whenever we not commemorate, is it commemorate? Just whenever we
You're
talk
asking the
about
wrong person.
when we talk about just all these memories and
Yeah.
starting our podcast, it really does make me. I know I said I don't feel nostalgic, but I do feel like I feel this sense of like nostalgia and just it's been so fun to do this. Yes, we love podcasting so much. It's literally like one of the best, most fun parts of our lives. So thank you guys for being our amazing community and always just being here with us. It really does mean the world. If you guys want to follow us at What We Said Podcast, you can watch us on YouTube. As you know, we love you guys so much. And that's what we said.
Bye.